Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Logical, my channel about Logic Pro 10. And today I'm going to show you how to use the Latch, Touch, and Write functions. These are automation functions in Logic Pro that you can use if you don't want to just write in automation points manually, which, by the way, you can do by hitting this button, not that button, this button. Well, let me just get rid of that. You can hit that button and select whatever automation parameter you want, and then just put in points and point them. So I'm just going to go through each function one by one and show you what they do. So let's start with touch. So what touch does is, as you play back through your audio, when you move the parameter, any parameter, it will record the automation for that parameter, and once you release the parameter, it'll return the parameter back to its original position. So right now, the fader here is at 0. And so I'm going to just play back this cheesy 80s synth that I have here, and I'm going to mess around with the fader so you can see what happens. So it followed my fader move as I pulled it down, and then as soon as I released it, it hopped back up here to 0 dB. So that's one function. The next is Latch, which is similar except for it doesn't have this bounce back function. So when I hit play, it follows my movements, and then it'll just stay at whatever the last point I moved the fader to, which was +6 dB. The final function is write, which is not all that useful. I hardly ever use it. But what write does is kind of a mix between latch and touch. This is what it does. So essentially, it will erase whatever automation you have as you play back if you don't touch any parameter, right? So it erased all of this, brought it back to 0 dB, and then it'll just act as essentially like Latch does. So when I pulled down the fader, it wrote the automation down as I pulled it, and then wherever you release it, it'll continue to erase the automation that's already there in front of it. I hardly ever use this. I mostly use Latch and Touch when I'm producing and mixing, but it's there if you want to mess around with it. So always remember to turn your function back to read. Read will just read whatever automation is there. If you leave it on write or latch, for example, write will erase everything you have when you're listening back to it. And latch and touch, if you're messing around with parameters while you're listening back, it might write in or erase other automation that you've already done. So always remember to turn it back to read. Yeah, that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions, and thanks for watching.